Alright, five, four, three, two, one. Yeah, you know what it is. It's your boy Guess Who. You now tapped into Streetnerdz Radio, the number one station in the streets right now. We got a special co-host in the building.
It's your boy 94
And we got a special guest in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Y'all already know what it is and who it is. It's your girl, DAMIR Major.
Man, so before we get started, let's go ahead and give them a background information on you. Where you from and how'd you grow up?
I'm originally from Baltimore. I was born in Baltimore, but I was raised like in Puerto Rico for like the first 8 years of my life. And then from there, I went to Cali.
Man, being born in Baltimore and then raised in Puerto Rico, what do you feel like the biggest difference when you after your first 8 years in Puerto Rico, or what's it like growing up in Puerto Rico?
Man, it's saucy. Honestly, like the food, the culture is just so different than America, which is crazy because, you know, Puerto Ricans are like the only legal Hispanics in the entire world. Like, ain't no other Hispanic legal. Every other Hispanic is an immigrant, you know? So Puerto Ricans, we're blessed enough to be the only Hispanics that can actually move around. As Americans, we're born with socials. We got, you know, get our passports, all that shit. Like, it's nothing.
So then coming over to the States from Puerto Rico, what was the biggest difference for you?
I think the culture shock was really just like the language barrier, you know, because I had to learn how to speak English, even though I was born in America. So it was kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like an interesting twist. It's like, okay, I was born in Baltimore, but I ain't never been in Baltimore. To this day, I ain't never been there since I was born there. And I left when I was like 8 months old. Before I was a year old. So I don't even know what Baltimore is like, but I was born there. So I know Puerto Rico's like, you know, they got that culture behind me. And then coming over here, I think, like I said, the biggest culture shock was definitely like the language barrier, which, you know, is like, you just took me to a place I don't understand shit, you know? So I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And then I had to, you know, just start like, my mom would walk me and we would read the street signs and shit, and she would like help me enunciate the words, you know? And then, you know, obviously eventually then she put me in school and all that stuff. So then she put me, I used to be in those like non-English speaking class, you know what I'm saying? It's like ESL, like ESL's class or some shit like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I was in those for a few years, and then finally I guess I tested properly, and then they were like, all right, she ready, she cool, you know? We can fuck with her now, you know what I'm saying?
Built you up.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, when would you say that you fell in love with music?
Oh, it must have been before I could even recollect, honestly, because some of my fondest memories are like me just dancing, you know, as a small child with my grandfather and my grandmother, because my mom went to the Navy. So they raised me for a good portion of those 8 years, and then explains why I ended up coming to California once my mom was done with the Navy. She was like, all right, I'm ready to get my munchkin, you know, and hit the States again. You know, so that's how that happened. But yeah, music has always been like a part of, I feel like my blood. Like my grandfather, he was a musician. My uncle, he's a musician as well. And my other grandfather, my dad's father, he's an amazing singer. So he's passed. But yeah, so I feel like it's always just been in me. You know, it just wasn't until like later on in my life that like I decided to actually make a career out of it.
What motivated you to make that decision?
You know, because I worked corporate America, you know, for 12 straight years. You know, I worked 6 years at Macaroni Grill when Macaroni Grill was actually like a thing, when the food was good and it wasn't trash, you know. And then from there, when the company basically went downhill, I transferred over to Cheesecake. So I worked for Cheesecake Factory for like 6 years as well. So I was in the corporate, you know, server/bartender, you know, era for like a good, like most of my life, you know. So then it wasn't until I fucking got fired that like basically gave me that boost and pushed me to like be like, all right, you need to figure something out. Like, do you want to be a fucking server for the rest of your life? Like, it's good money, especially being in a city like Las Vegas where tips are everything. Like, you a bartender here, a busser, a server, anything in the service industry, you got it made like great money. You know, I made hundreds of thousands of dollars throughout those years, you know. But all in all, it doesn't end you nowhere but back there. You know, so it was just like, oddly enough, you think, damn, I'm getting fired, this is fucked up. But really, it kind of just like gave me a boost on what I needed to be like, all right, I'm going to fucking actually take my talent serious and really like live my life by it, you know?
At what moment do you say that you do make that decision and that you have so much faith in your talent that you was like, at what point with your talent did you say like, yeah, I got this for sure? Was it a song that you made? Is it?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Hey, okay, I think it was the fact that I picked up a guitar. Because I'm also a musician, aside from being a singer and a rapper. I actually play instruments. So it was the first instrument I learned how to play, which was the guitar. And I think it was at that point that I was just like, okay, why did God give me all these gifts? And then always just kind of being a people person and always being like an empathetic person. Always kind of wanting to be somebody like that looked up to like the Bob Marleys of the world, you know, and people like that, which their whole message was they wanted to spread love because they wanted to change the world for the better, you know. And then just kind of growing up in those type of like thoughts, you know, I feel like it's really made me feel like, okay, I believe in myself enough to believe that my talent could be the platform that catapults me to the stage that I need to be at for people to actually listen to what I have to say. You know, because it's like people say a lot of shit. You can say shit, I can say shit, but what is gonna make that person listen to which one of us? And unfortunately, even though all of us can have valid points, they're gonna be like, out of all of us, they're gonna be like, oh well, she's a good singer, so I'm gonna listen to her. What does she got to say? And then they'll be like, okay, well, then you know, so they'll go kind of down the line in their heads of how they basically perceive the person. Same idea with like social media and the followings and all that kind of stuff. When you meet people, it's like the perception they put you. They don't know shit about you. You could be a terrible person, but just because you got 1 million followers, they're all like dick riding you, you know?
Right.
Not knowing you could be, you over here behind beating your bitch up, you know? Like, shit, no, but for real. So it's just one of those, it be like that, right? So it's just like, damn, what's gonna make them listen to what I have to say? Because I feel like I got some good shit, you know? So it's just kind of like that concept.
Is it hard? Do you find it sometimes hard to be vulnerable in your music?
It depends.
A lot of people.
In what sense? Like, in what sense?
Like being able to express yourself with your music so much so that, you know, because they say that a lot of women make, like Mary J. Blige, her best music came when her heart was broken.
Right, with pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You know what? I would say yes and no. And I would say yes in a sense because, like you said, some of the best creations come out of the deepest feelings in our soul, you know. But then again, me being like a writer, that I pride myself on being a writer. I write for other people. I write for myself, you know. I write everything. All of my material is like all me. I think I've had 1 or 2 other of my friends that have inputted in a couple of my songs, but it's been like a sentence or 2, you know. So it's like literally I'm like the master behind it all, you know. So when it comes to that, I think that I am able to, because some of my latest material, which is some of my best material, actually, it's really funny, I had nothing to do with it. You know, somebody that was closest to me was fucking going through it. And I was just, damn. And then I just heard it. And I felt what they were going through, both of them, you know. And I was just like, And I literally wrote like 2 songs from each point of view for each person. Which is crazy because in one of the songs I was the vigilante, and then the other song I was like the victim, you know. So I really had to put myself into what that person was doing to that person, and really put myself on what that person was going through, from the effects of what that person was causing them. So just from me knowing what they're both going through, you know, like from both of them venting to me about their problems. And obviously in the music, I don't say this is about this person or about this person. But when they hear it, they're like, oh my God. When they heard the songs, they were fucking wigging out. Because they were like, damn, that's just like, that's me right there.
When you write, you say that you take pride in your writing. With a lot of artists, some artists feel like if you don't write your music, it takes away from who you are as the artist. How do you feel about that statement?
I think being an entertainer and understanding how the entertainment industry works, once you reach a certain level of stardom, it's like it's inevitable. I don't care who you are, you're going to need help in something. Just like the same concept, everybody's like, I did it myself. No, the fuck you didn't. I don't give a fuck who you are. Nobody did it alone. You might have came up with the shit alone. You might have took the steps by yourself, but somewhere along the way, you have to call somebody or ask somebody for something, or even if it's just hold the light for me, nigga, so I can motherfucking make this video at home. At some point, you need help from somebody, so that's bullshit. You know, nobody does shit themselves. That is literally impossible. You know, you want to go make a production, nigga, you need to go get that loan. You know what I'm saying? So you need to go and figure out how to either get that credit up or do the, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's bullshit. But understanding the fact that a lot of these people have writing camps, you know, and me being part of writing camps in the past, I'm not one right now, but I have been. And understanding that, you know, I don't think it takes anything away from the entertainer. You know, it's just the writing aspect of it. You're not a writer, so don't sit there and fucking flaunt and say you wrote your shit if you didn't. But at the same time, I don't think it makes you any less of an artist, because I think anybody, like for instance, back in the 90s, a lot of people didn't even realize that NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were both on the same label. They were literally managed by the same person. But yet the perception of it was they were against each other. And you're not realizing all these motherfuckers sitting in one room getting the same songs. The only difference is, when they're going and doing their demos, you know, which I've done demos for people too, you go in and you do it and you send it off and they basically translate it how you do it for them, you know? So, you know, you sit there and then they go, oh, boom, this sounds good. All right, let's see how they did their version of that same song. Boom. All right, which one sounds better? All right, NSYNC got this one. That one goes to NSYNC. All right, Backstreet Boys killed it on this one. Boom, that one goes to Backstreet Boys. Not realizing the same pile of songs are given to the same motherfucking groups, you know? So same thing with Beyonce and with like the Leona Lewises. That's why you hear about, oh, Beyonce stole me or boot me off the song because, you know, blah, 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 you know, because of shit like that. Because a lot of people don't even realize that it's just a pile that's being distributed. So I think the big difference of that is, as an independent artist, keeping true to your writing, I think is just key in the development of the sound that you want to put out into the world. Because when you're going off of things like that and you have a pile, it's basically like, it's going to be like oversaturated. It's going to be like the same thing that you're listening to. That's why the people that are making this type of music, like the Childish Gambinos and the people like that, you know, you could tell they write their own shit, because it's not the same cookie cutter shit that you're hearing all over, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Trap Latin soul.
Yeah.
What is trap Latin soul?
So trap Latin soul. So that's basically a new genre that I'm trying to create within the Spanish community, because one thing that the Spanish community lacks, compared to, like, let's say, like the urban English hip hop community, is that they don't venture out of that box that we just finished talking about. You know, a lot of the sounds, a lot of the rhythms, a lot of the cadences, they're very alike. You know, and me being like having the background that I did, where, you know, I was born over here, I was raised over here, and then I went over here, getting so many different cultures and understanding like how music and drum patterns and like music theory works. What I'm trying to do is convey some of those sounds that you will only find in the American market, like The Weeknd, her, Bryson Tiller, you know, those type of sounds, and incorporate them into Spanish music. So then it gives you, I just opened up for Dizzy Wright on December 2nd. Shout out to Danny and Total Entertainment for putting that together. It was his birthday. But I got the best compliment, because when after they listened to my set, after the whole show was over, because I went right before Dizzy, then the show was over. And then somebody was like, yo, your set was crazy. It was like Spanish R&B. And I was like, fuck yeah. You feel me? They're getting it, you know, slowly but surely. And that's what, you know, like, that's the American side still, though. Now it's time for me to try to convey that to the Spanish side and be like, yo, this is like new shit. This is like Spanish R&B. Something that y'all don't understand, but it's a thing, you know?
Man, right now a lot of people will say that there is a good rise in Latin music right now.
Absolutely.
Latin artists
Absolutely.
Putting on. What can you equate that to, or what can you say you think the reason behind that is the Latin community really just...
Well, because if you think about it, there's a lot of fucking Hispanics, and there's different dialects and there's different cultures within that same Spanish side. Like we're all Hispanic, but Colombians are not like Dominicans and Cubans are not like Mexicans, you know? So the fact that, yes, we're all Hispanic, but there's so many different avenues of how you can come at it, I think that's what's happening. And then finally people are starting to recognize, because I would say for about the last 20 years, reggaeton in the Spanish community is really what's been popping and really what has dominated and what has been recognized. Now, compared to like, now you got the Peso Plumas and people like that, which they're coming out of Mexico. And that music has always been around, but it hasn't been recognized by basically like the whole world the way that it is now. It's just been recognized by the Mexican community because that's Mexican music, you know? So compared to reggaeton, which is Puerto Rican music now / Colombian, DR music, but it's recognized as like the Spanish music that dominates basically Spanish music, you know? But now you got the dembos, and now you got like in bachata and salsa, and you got so much different shit, you know? So I think that's why, because they're able to revenue more out of the same shit, basically. It's just coming at it in a different sauce, because it's a different pot, technically, you know?
You have one?
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna throw Young Miko out there. Have you heard of Young Miko?
Young Miko, yeah,
What do you think
actually.
about Young Miko?
I think Young Miko's dope. I love her swag. She's a young girl. I think she's gonna do well.
What genre would you describe her music as?
I would say it's definitely reggaeton. She does reggaeton, but it's like, that's the thing. You see, the music is starting to transcend because they're starting to do 808s. They're starting to do a lot of, you know what I'm saying? A lot of urban sounds in that reggaeton, because they realize, hey, we gotta switch some shit around, because this shit has been like the same shit for the last fucking 20 years. We gotta spice it up. And then so now you see like the Young Mikos, which they're incorporating little English sentences in their Spanish music and shit like that. Shit that motherfuckers like me that been doing like bilingual music for the longest time, you know, but it's like now the world's starting to recognize it. So once I pop off, those find my old songs and they'll be like, oh shit, that's that shit that we like right now, is that bilingual shit. It's new to them, you know?
Speaking of some of your old songs, real quick, do you remember that day we were at Evan's house and I met you and you showed me a song? Do you remember that song you showed me?
I don't, honestly.
I've been looking for it all day.
I don't.
What song would you say then, for yourself, best describes you as an artist? It could be unreleased or released, but overall, your artist, who you are, this is the song that, for me, I would put this for anybody, and you would get the best representation of myself.
Ooh, that's a hard one, man, because I have so many different styles of music. Like, I have country music. I actually started doing country music when I started doing music, because remember, I told you I picked up the guitar. So, like, I did a country tour in Texas, you know, my first year of doing music, you know, and it went really cool, but then I just found myself being like, this doesn't speak to my soul right now. You know, it's beautiful, but it doesn't speak to me right now. I need something that, like, translates into my culture, which is, you know, Puerto Rican, Spanish, or whatever. So, I don't know, man. That's a hard one. Sheesh, you stumped me on that one.
What's
you stumped me.
I was fired.
Okay.
I was fired.
Okay, I would say in the transitional period that I am right now, working, like, playing with sounds, like I was talking about, I would say he's got that one. He's on the money on that one, because Ay 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 is really kind of like a transitional song, because if you listen to it, the way that I come off in my Spanish, it's like, once again, like English, R&B, pop. You know, so it's just like, it gives you that vibe, but you're like, oh damn, this bitch is speaking Spanish, you know?
Sauce, though.
Right, right. Because it goes, lo juro no te quise engañar, siempre conmigo fuiste real, perdóname, te lo pido, nunca fue mi intención, esta vida es tan dura, ya no tengo corazón, ay, ay, ay. So, you know, it gives you kind of like, cause you see, kind of gives you like that English pop vibe. You know what I'm saying? But you're like, oh shit, she's talking about some Spanish shit. And I'm talking shit. I'm talking about, bitch, I didn't mean to like do you dirty. And you was always good to me, but this is a tough life. Ay, ay, ay. You know? So, that type of shit, like, you know, that kind of shit, you know? So, and then I break it down and kind of do like a, you know what I'm saying? Like a little WAP type of You know, but it's in Spanish still, so it gives you kind of like that. What's his name? CJ, TJ, whatever the fuck that. The nigga from New York, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It gives you kind of like that WAP vibe, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know he ain't been around for a minute, but.
Nah, but he's coming back. So,
Oh,
just ended.
sorry. Before I forget, because you know the weed is good. Back to what you were saying though about the young Miko, because I've been opening up for bigger and bigger artists. You know, I've opened up for Tusi with my brother Prince Inc. on his set. I've opened up for, like I said, Dizzy. I opened up for a really big Spanish artist. Her name is Tokisha. You know, so in opening up for these people, my point being, when you're not a writer too, you know how we were saying that stack of songs, is what happens too is once you can't stay relevant within yourself, you know, it's like the next person is the next person, the next person. So as soon as quick as you see them come, you see them go. So with the young Miko, more power to her. I hope that she just makes it past 5 years is what I'm saying, you know.
What do you think is the hardest part about making it 5 years? Is it just falling out of love with music, or not being able to, you know, what is it that makes music career so small, you think, nowadays? Because a lot of people don't do it for the love of the music anymore. They know that it's a lucrative industry, and if you can be molded to what they want, it's all about branding. It doesn't even matter how talented you are anymore. The talent is like 25% of the battle. It's all about who you know, what door you can open, how much they can mold you and sell you. So you got to really pick. Do you want to make good music, or do you want to make music that sells? You know, because it's not the same thing sometimes, you know.
I love that.
2023 just ended. What did you leave in 2023?
I think all my fears of just, you know, sometimes it's like no matter, we're our own worst enemies, you know, and it's just like no matter how much somebody be like, oh my God, you're so good, and, oh my God, you're going places, and no matter, you know, it's just like at the end of the day, sometimes we self-reflect, and, you know, sometimes we self-doubt. And I think like how we were talking about earlier before the interview started, it's that motivation behind what makes you continue to tick that clock, you know. And I think with that being said, it reverts back to what we were talking about with that this thing, it's either just for you or it's bigger than you. So for me, it's bigger than me because I do it for a greater purpose, you know. So sometimes for some of us, the money don't come right away. And sometimes that could be the most discouraging part of the aspect, you know, is damn. Because everybody knows it's not cheap to make music. If you're not being funded by somebody, or, you know, like they're not giving, your engineer's not giving you a free studio, or your producer, your beat maker's not giving you free beats, you know, the shit can get expensive. And like I talk about this on my lives all the time, you know, and it's a good incentive to get people to give me badges and donate money, because I tell them, hey, as soon as I cash out $100 on here, I'm gonna take that to the studio, pay 2 hours, and go record the song, and y'all help me do that, you know. So like it's, you know, it's 2 hours for one song. That's 100, right? That's 50 an hour. Then you got to get the cover art for it. That's another 50. Then you got to get the mix and mastering to that same song. That's another 100, 150, depending on who you're fucking with. That's already 250, and that's high ball and low ball. It depends, you know. Then you got to. It's just. It costs about $500 per song, and that's without making a music video for it if you want to make a music video. So if people don't realize, each song, if you want to drop it with visuals, is about a band. Like, you know, if you're trying to do it right and you're not trying to do low budget shit on your phone, you know. So it's just the motivation, it has to be that you have to believe that the end goal is greater than the now goal, you know. And if you can stick to that and believe that, then I think that you'll be all right, because it's like the concept between, are you a fly or are you a bee? You feel me? Like the flies, they're gonna flock to whatever shit is happening right now. They're gonna be over here, they're gonna be over there, they're gonna be over there.
I've seen that a lot lately.
You know what I'm saying?
That
But
quote,
the bees,
yeah.
they're willing to work, and they're willing to build, and they're willing to plant those seeds and water them every day, and water them properly. Because don't matter if you plant seeds, if you pouring soda on them.
Right,
you feel me? You gotta water them and water them right. And what, at the end, the bee has the honey. You feel me? And what's the fly? The fly's over here throwing up shit. You feel me? So it's just like, you can be a dick rat or a clout chaser and worry about the now, or you could really, really tune in and build those relationships with the people who matter, and really have that, like, that core group that is people that you can trust, that you can call family, that you know are gonna fuck you over when the shit gets hot and the money is what gets real, because usually money is what divides all of it.
Do you feel like a lot of artists don't engage enough with the people that do support them, like the fans? You said going live, here, support me with the badges, but I'm here giving you my time. Do you feel like a lot of artists don't engage enough with their fans? Or the
I feel like a lot of artists don't engage enough with themselves. You know, I feel like, and because it, like, once again, the talent is a quarter of the battle. You could be the most talented motherfucker, but you best believe the consistency is gonna outbeat you every day. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people don't realize. You know, they want to go shoot one music video. It's not one music video, nigga. You gotta shoot a music video, then you gotta go get this interview today, you know? And tomorrow on Monday, I gotta go do this other thing, and I gotta go do this promo, and I gotta do a photo shoot, and I gotta... You always constant. That's why what he say? Oh, you always doing hella shit. Because who the fuck is gonna do it if you don't do it? Who's gonna do it for you? And one thing that people don't need to understand, and especially artists, or even entrepreneurs, anybody that's having a business, is the consistency behind it that is going to get you the success that you're trying to achieve. Because people will forget, and they'll forget quick. It's your job to keep them engaged and keep them interested in what you're doing. You can't sell a product if you're not constantly pitching it. You know? It's like you can't build a brand if you're not constantly like putting into it, you know? You can't just be like, oh, I'm a good singer and my name's DAMIR Major and y'all gotta buy this shirt because I'm DAMIR Major. They're gonna be like, okay, cool, you sing cool, but what the fuck have you done? Oh no, DAMIR's been out here doing magazine signings and she's doing hella giveaways, and most of my songs, like at the Dizzy Rice show, I give away motherfucking over a quarter pound of weed. And eights and in pre-rolls. I give away, because I have different, because what I like to give back. So what I do is I get on the motherfucking phone with these companies and I'm like, hey, and that's what these motherfuckers, a lot of these people don't realize, is that I do that shit for you. So you can get your free tray and your free pre-roll and your little lanyard and your shirt, you know. Not for me, you know. I got boxes of this shit sitting at my house, you know. So I work with these companies for you, so I can give back to you, because I'm that type of artist, and everybody knows that. I can say that with faith, and everybody here in Vegas knows that I give back to my community and my fans and my friends, because I appreciate them for giving me their time and their attention and sometimes their money, you know. So it's just, like I said, it depends on what you're in it for. If you're in it for you, then by all means. But if you're in it for everyone, then it's a little bit different, you know.
There's a young girl, or even your younger self, if you could go back in time, who looking up to you, wants to inspire, loves what you're doing, wants to follow in your footsteps in a way. What piece of game or wisdom would you give back to them on their come up?
I would say, honestly, is stay true to yourself. And what I mean with that is don't let public perception change your ideologies on what you believe is what you want to put out into the world. So in the sense that just because the Young Miko is what's hot right now, don't go try to sound like Young Miko. If you truly believe that this is a sound that you believe in and you like, stay unique and stay true. And those that get it will appreciate you for it, and they'll support you for it. And those will be really the base of basically like that cult following, you know what I'm saying? Like once you actually do blow up, it'll be the day ones that'll be there and like, nah, I've been listening to this bitch for fucking 5 years already, before anybody even knew who she was, you know? Because her music resonated with me, and now the world has caught up, you know? So it's just like, don't try to cookie cutter your shit, you know. Don't try to water it down. Like, if it's true to you and it's true to your heart and you believe in it, then stick to it and work towards it. And honestly, don't half-ass it, because if you half-ass it, then you might as well not do it at all.
2024, what's your 2024 look like?
Woo! Sheesh. A lot, honestly. Yeah, some crazy shit's popping off. Honestly, I can't even talk about it, but just know that you're gonna see me on some stages. You're gonna see some crazy productions, and you're gonna see some crazy collabs finally gonna be getting some real collabs that y'all gonna be like, oh shit, I can't believe DAMIR just made a song with such and such. So, shit like that.
Who is DAMIR Major?
Who is DAMIR Major? DAMIR Major is peace. DAMIR Major is love. DAMIR Major is support. DAMIR Major is community. DAMIR Major is everything that you feel that you need in one place, in the sense that it's a safe place and you can come here and you can be yourself with me and my brand and what I have to offer, because at the end of the day, there's no judgments, you know? Aside from all the barriers and all the other shit that's going on in the world, it's all about just being your best self and staying true to God, really. And the God that guides you and the God that lives in you, you know? And I think that if you just walk that way and, you know, you're a good person like this guy right here.
Man, I've been watching you for the last 5 years. I'm telling you, you've come so far.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I love that. I love that about you and for you. And it inspires me a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
You know what's crazy? I got a Spanish song to show you after your interview.
Let's get it. Okay. He got a song with Kid Real. I'm behind. I gotta get a song with this nigga now.
So where can they find you?
You can find me at damirmajor.com. That's DAMIRE. Major.com. That takes you to my link tree, and it has all my plethoras. DAMIR Major PR for Puerto Rico on Instagram. That's my main page, you know, the main place where I interact and engage. But I'm working on getting on other platforms like TikTok and stuff like that. It's just sometimes, you know, there'd be too much weird shit on TikTok. It'd be hard for me to kind of be like, you know, but I don't know. But I'm working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Because we was just talking about
And you know, IG lets me smoke, so that's why I fuck with IG too.
Man, for sure.
They let me smoke on the live. You know, I be showing these niggas my buds and shit, like, you know.
Not TikTok.
So, nah, hell no. Not no other platform. No other platform. No, you can't smoke or show weed or do none of that. They'll ban you. Yeah, or like ban you, or like, you know, you'll have to go in the corner.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Well, man, I want to say I appreciate you for sure for giving me this opportunity. I can't wait for the summer when I get to sit down with you again.
No, man, thank you for having me, man, honestly. And y'all stay tuned for Tony Montana. It's dropping here in February. I'm really excited. First to second week of February, dropping my new single. Yeah, and it's going to be a vibe. That's Toni because I'm a chick. So I decided to go with the Tony, like Tony Braxton, you know. Tony Montana. Yeah. So it's going to be a vibe, yo. It's going to be hype.
What, you got visuals coming for that too?
Working on it now. Working on the visuals now.
Wait.
The visual is gonna take a few months because we're doing like skits and we're doing some real acting and stuff like that. So it's gonna take a little bit longer than, you know, just going out there and running and gunning, you know. Sure. But when it's done, yo, it's gonna be worth the wait.
Man, well, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and we out.